I thank our witnesses and I yield back. I now recognize the ranking member of the committee, the gentleman from North Carolina, Mr. McHenry, for 4 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just last week, this committee marked up the chair's down payment toward Equity Act, a massive $100 billion spending spree that would continue fueling skyrocketing housing costs. It's this kind of unchecked spending that is pushing the housing market from boom to bust for the average American family. That's on top of 40-year high inflation and skyrocketing consumer prices across the board, which are outpacing wage gains, in fact. This is clobbering household budgets. And if purchasing a home is still within the realm of possibility, that'll cost you double what it did just last year, from 3 to 6% now for a 30-year fixed rate mortgage. So let's break down that statistic. The median sales price for a house so far in this year, in 2022, is $428,700. With an FHA minimum allowable down payment of 3.5%, excluding closing costs and other fees, that means a first-time home buyer might have to finance as much as $413,700. At 6% interest, you're looking at a monthly payment of $2,480. That's up from $1,740 last year. So that's a $740 a month difference, or roughly a month's worth of groceries for a family of 4. And those groceries are more expensive this year, in fact. Potential home buyers are being pushed out of the market today. Instead of taking responsibility for this economic wreckage, President Biden is blaming anyone and anything other than his own policies. Earlier this month, he claimed there was, quote, zero evidence that the $2.66 trillion in new spending from his first 500 days in office had anything to do with inflation, that his spending had nothing to do with inflation. He even called that notion bizarre. And if you ask me, what's bizarre here is the cognitive dissonance between the Democrats' bad policies and their lack of accountability for this economic dumpster fire they've unleashed. We've been down this road before, and we know where it inevitably leads. It starts with Democrats creating new programs or pressuring the GSEs to make increasingly risky loans for borrowers who can't keep up with the artificial price spikes they've created. And it ends with those families, many low-income and first-time home buyers, being hurt the most when the housing market has a downturn. And taxpayers are left on the hook for tens of billions of dollars to boot. It doesn't have to be this way. We need to get serious about creating a sustainable housing finance system that can withstand the pressures of a market downturn. We should focus on ways to actually increase the supply of housing and create stable prices. And we should restore proper oversight of our housing finance regulators like FHFA and FHA, both of which have somehow gone more than 2 years without appearing before this committee. In fact, today's hearing would have been the perfect venue to hear from FHFA Director Thompson. Ranking Member Hill and I sent a letter last week urging the chair to invite Director Thompson to testify on growing threats to our housing finance system. It's those threats on which we should be focused. Instead, all we are getting today is more excuses, more pleas for new reckless government housing spending, and more empty promises than this time, and promises that this time it will be different. I yield back.